This is my favorite part with the sim, because it simulates it transcends the curbstone so perfectly, especially on the rear axle. Hoppa! Off we go. Good morning, comrades. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back not to the Nürburgring, but back to Croatia. I went here for a holiday, for the weekend, and actually for the first time ever I took my driving shoes with me. No, we're not going to drive Rimac, but it has to do something with Rimac because I'm here today together with Tino. We are actually ex-colleagues from Rimac. We both used to work there. But the reason why I took my driving shoes is because Tino built something quite special. And it is actually a motion simulator. So it's not a type of content that you would usually expect on my channel. But then again, we started recently doing some sim driving. So a lot of you people will appreciate it. But it is actually, the more you look at it, the more blows it you away that a one man can build something like that, and there's even more like behind it. So Tino, walk us through the specs. Where should we start first? What's your favorite part of the sim?
Where should I begin? Favorite part, I think that definitely the favorite part is the motion part.
Yeah, and there's quite a lot of things going on here. So we have all kinds of actuators. So what do each of one of them do?
So these two actuators are for the heave motion, so all the bumps on the road and up and down motion. And also they can move the platform like this, so they can simulate side forces and side G forces. Then we have traction loss. This is traction loss actuator. This is pretty important one because that one simulates the traction loss and the fast side forces of the car, so you can feel what the rear of your car is doing. Like, when you're over a bump and you can feel your rear end becoming loose, or the grip of the rear tires and everything.
Nice.
Then we have this actuator here. This one is for the acceleration and deceleration forces. And what it does, it moves this seat rest forward or backwards. So it pushes this part of the seat up your back, and simulating the car acceleration, so you can really feel the car power, which is, I really like that one because it's quite immersive. Usually in the static motion sim you cannot feel the actual power of the car, so that's the fun one. Yeah. For me.
I'm excited to try it out.
And then we have this shaker system. It's custom made by me. You can maybe see it's from speakers that are modified. Yeah, the shaker system is important because they simulate like road texture and engine vibrations and like all these frequencies that are a lot higher than these actuators can do. So they are pretty important, and I can actually show to Misha when I turn them off what's the difference, so you can see what are his opinion about it.
Nice. So you're running a triple screen setup?
Yeah, I'm running a triple screen Samsung G7 monitor, 32-inch. I have this Asus free bezel kit, so you don't see the monitor bezels.
Wow, yeah, that's nice. And then for the computer geeks,
we have 3080 graphic cards to run this, and it's basically
So for pedals, it's Fanatec? Or?
Fanatec V3, and Fanatec DD2.
Okay.
Wheelbase, and it's a bit modified. We have an extension here, so it goes a little bit further out. That's also done by me.
And then you have also full control panel over here.
Yeah, I have like everything is electrified, so we can move the pedals.
Oh yeah.
So this is like an entire rig goes up and down. We can do the pedals up and down, change the pedal angles, so we can go up or down and adjust the angle, or the whole pedals go
away or
towards. You can set it up the way you like.
Yeah. So, and just one more time to emphasize, you built it all by yourself?
Yeah.
Like software, hardware?
Yeah, in this house. No, actually, I the software part I bought, so
Yeah.
I didn't do the software part, but the setuping of the software, which is, I think, the most important part was done by me.
Yeah. No, this is incredible. There are so much things that we can cover into detail, but it's going to be a very long video. But I'm not going to repeat Tino because he actually made a very long video explaining every single part that you can find on this channel. So check out the video description. Now let's proceed with the most important part, actually me driving it for me, because I'm very excited to try out, because a lot of people, like a lot of local people, local drivers, like Miro Murgut, the test driver from Rimac, said you should go and try it because it's really that good. And I'm like, okay, let's see how it is, and then we'll proceed with the final best thing after my verdict. So stay tuned. Well, let's hop in and give it a go. So we're driving iRacing, 992 Cup.
Yeah.
Yep. And for me, I haven't driven sim for like a month by now. Yeah, maybe a few weeks, I would say, but not much action at all. Haven't driven iRacing in many, many months, and haven't driven real life, of course, also quite long. So it's going to be interesting to find out how it reacts, because the key aspect, or would say unique selling point of this actual simulator is this actually trying to, again, simulate the real life as close as possible. And in comparison to other sims tend to be like maybe a bit overreacting when it comes to motion, just to give too much of feedback, which actually then again either the drivers or the average people just don't like, because it's just simply too much. So yeah, okay, enough talking, let's hop in and see how it drives. So we have an interesting camera setup that's usually unusual for my channel. So I'm running a GoPro on my head for you, and Tino will be capturing my emotions, my first impressions. Okay, so the pedals need to be a bit further away from me. Which one is it?
For the pedals, it's this one.
Okay.
And for the seat is this one, so you can...
Okay. Yeah.
You can put the wheel on. Put it in neutral and just give it gas. Can you feel the...
Oh yeah, the vibrations.
It's like... it's leaning over a bit.
Yeah.
And just go.
Alright. I'm really excited for this one. Getting used to. Well, the crashes are at least the right part. Just getting used to the field of view as well. Let's try without this so I can get used to the thing first. The elevation changes are done very nicely.
Yeah.
You can really feel all the bumps. My main issue is it's just really my issues, because my field of view is completely different in comparison to my sim. So I need to just like really adjust to the position, my face and eyes and where I am. So that's like it's gonna take a bit to get adjusted to that. Okay, so after getting used to the simulator for about one lap, getting used to the depth of field and also the way that the pedals handle, the way that the steering wheel handles, because completely different experience, I think I'm not completely dialed in now, but at least I am not going to suck too much. The first impression is absolutely phenomenal. The way that it transcends the movements, especially in the back, towards the seat, through all the curbstones, through all the small bumps. This is completely what makes a difference, what makes it worth to have a motion rig. Like, especially here, for example, when we go towards Hohenrhein chicane, there's a curbstone on the right, and it has some rumbles, right, like brakes. This you really feel through the seat, and it gives you also here, this one curbstone, it gives you extra awareness of the grip on the rear axle, something that will prepare you for the real life, because with rear-wheel driven cars, for example, like when driving now the 992 GT3, the importance of grip on the rear axle is phenomenal, and this is something you can only feel through your butt, and to know what is happening there is again through the nice transition through the seat. And if you are on a curbstone, on some slippery surface, you need to note that you should not go on the throttle. For example, here, yep, or be at least very delicate and very gentle with the throttle to be able to make it and not to make very big or bad mistakes. And it's also interesting to see how on my simulator, that's where I don't have any motion, I get all the feedback through the steering wheel, like the grip levels and everything. And when I'm driving here, so I'm completely focused on what is happening with the steering wheel when I'm driving my sim. Here now, I'm actually focused more on the driving like you would do with the car. You're like one with the car, or in this case one with the sim, because you don't have to rely on steering wheel inputs as much as you would have on a non-motion sim, because you're getting all the proper inputs. When you feel that the back is coming out, yeah, you can actually at least kind of more or less save the situation. Maybe not completely, but not wreck it. And that probably would not have happened if I would just focus on driving and not talking. But the fact that I can do it after one lap is kind of confirming that for me this is good, because again, for people who don't know me, I'm not a sim racer, and for many years I was really against sims. I just didn't like the way they felt, because there was too much of a difference between the real life and the real sim racing, and sim racing I mean. But this is now a completely different experience. It can really help you become a better driver. I mean, I obviously used to say it as well with every sim nowadays, but when it comes to being a race car driver, this really simulates everything to such detail. Especially here at Ex-Rimac, if you watched our track walk series where I explained that the back end kicks out of all rear-wheel driven cars, you could feel very nicely in the seat that the back end wanted to step out, and you could already correct it before it would move out, that you otherwise would have to do with your steering wheel, with the feedback that you get from the steering wheel. So again, it adds so much more immersion and proper detail without being obnoxious, without annoying you too much because it tries to overcompensate or over exaggerate things. This is definitely a big key component, that it is balanced with the real thing. And again, also in this regard, when other motion rigs are just way too much, and it's fun, yeah, of course, when you jump on Floods Garden, that thing kicks you up and you're like, oh my god, I made a massive jump. But the problem that you get well, either you just don't like it because it's obnoxious, but if you are comparing it to real life, the inputs, the motion sensors inputs that you get from a car that make it actually, how should I put it correctly? The small inputs that you get from the car usually have major consequences, so you really need to feel them properly. They are really not that bad. Why do people, again, why does majority of people actually crash their car of beginner drivers? Because, well, if you can see it coming from a mile away, it's not that hard to predict it and to counter steer. But in reality, the signals that the car is slipping away, that you need to catch it, that you're losing grip or whatever, are actually microscopic. And there's a very fine level between having the right amount of feedback, which is on a very low side, and having too much feedback that is just like over exaggerated and fake. But in this case, it's pretty much nailed in comparison to real life thing. Well, didn't have any severe crashes, and I'm kind of happy with that. I'm proud of that. So, okay, finishing on the main straight. Let's do one more lap and then we're done. There are of course a lot of things that I could still try to set up correctly for myself, like the seating position, etc. But we were gonna be spending otherwise way too much time. But already like the stuff that I was able to achieve when it comes to getting the proper feedback through the sim in those first 2 laps, I think this is our 3rd lap now, maybe 4th, it's really impressive. Like, all the sensory input has been completely nailed down correctly. This is my favorite part with the sim, because it simulates it transcends the curbstone so perfectly, especially on the rear axle. Hoppa! Off we go. Really, really good. Well, that's definitely now the fastest that I've been through this corner so far today. That's a very tricky part, foxhole, especially in sims. But as you can see, it was not that hard. What I'm actually trying to say is that usually in the sims you're lacking the sensory inputs that you would be getting from a real life car when you're exiting foxhole, because there's so much happening: elevation changes, compression, you're going over the curbstone, there's so many directional changes that you need to understand and feel, or that you can feel with the real life car, that me personally, after driving for almost a year on a sim, get it wrong on a sim, or at least I don't get enough feedback to go as fast as I would go with a normal car. But here you can feel that you get all those inputs. Yep.
Wow, that was amazing. Maybe phenomenal is even a better word, for multiple reasons. Because A, the sim is able to transcend those really micro inputs that otherwise be usually over exaggerated by multiple sims. And again, for me, I'm mostly like, I'm not a sim driver, I'm like a real road car driver. So for me, like, I'm still, even after a year, getting used to like the sim racing inputs. And in this case, like the first lap, first corner was disaster. Yeah. The first lap was bad, but then it was gradually progressing. So it was like really, I had to actually adjust myself that I'm not driving actually simulator, but the way I would be driving a real car, because I had to use all of my body, all the sensory inputs, like also from the back, from the seat, that you otherwise do not have on a normal sim. And my biggest challenge came from the field of view, that like the sim that I'm driving is actually set up in a completely different way. I had to get used to that. So this thing, machine, TS Designer, how do you call it?
TS Custom.
TS Custom is doing a phenomenal job in doing all of that. I'm really impressed. But the most impressive fact is that Tino is actually not a race car driver. Or you have never been in a race car.
I've never been in a race car.
And yet,
I've been in Porsche Taycan.
Yeah.
with Rimac, and I was actually in the Vera, but we were not on a racetrack.
Yeah.
I mean, not on a real racetrack, so it was like just acceleration, deceleration, and
But to get those like fine inputs, the way that you're able to transcend it, because again, everything is built by you and set up by you, and this is just like something that, my God, it reminds me of Tom Schirmer in a way, who builds like fastest BMWs over the Nürburgring, but does not drive them ever or Nürburgring himself. But he can set up the suspension this fine that you don't know why. So sometimes maybe you need to think so much out of the box. You should probably get to Mars and leave the box in the Earth. So, something like that, and that's probably why you made it, because usually probably other people would be just like too much distracted by other things.
Yeah, I didn't copy anything.
Yeah,
I just did it the way I thought it is best. So
you did.
I of course did some research. I checked other sims how they are made, but in the end I did everything the way I thought it is best. So
Yeah,
I think.
No,
I hope it's really that good.
It definitely is. And again, as mentioned, you can find more on Tino's channel on how everything is built and set up, and you can also ask him all the questions there, so he can answer them to you directly. What's the plan from here? Is this just like your own toy, or are you planning on actually making it into production for people to buy it, or what's the...
I actually don't know. I don't want to go into, for now, I don't want to go into any serial production. It would be per customer request, maybe.
Okay.
I might even have one order for one custom made, like this custom.
Yeah.
So we'll see. For now, it's just.
Is there any way you can put a price tag on this if people would ask for it?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's best not,
of course,
to talk about it.
Basically, if you need to ask how much it costs, you cannot afford it. That's how it usually works. Right. Okay. I think that's pretty much all I had to say. Again, I wish I had more time to play with it, but I have also other things to do here, unfortunately or luckily, here in Zagreb. So. Thank you very much, Tino, for this amazing experience.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to maybe do something more with it in the future. Who knows, when I have more time, and also seeing you at the Nürburgring, if we can like go for a real life lap.
That would be nice.
And I'll definitely crash less than I did on the sim.